Hi, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Sempre Milan bonus podcast. As you can tell, Ollie is not here this week. He is actually on vacation in Spain. So Ben and I will be discussing the signing of Pervis Estupinan and essentially what we think about the signing and what we think he might contribute in the red and black shirt. There we go. How's it
There
going,
we
Mike?
go. All is good, mate. How about yourself?
Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad. Defeat yesterday, of course, but I don't know. Do we look at it as a defeat? I don't know. It's more like a preparation thing. But yeah, what did you watch the game? I guess.
Yeah. So I caught most of the first half, and I was on shift for the other half. I think the biggest thing from it that I took was that we actually looked quite solid. Fitness levels looked clear, and it looked like they actually had a bit of an identity to us, which is weird considering Allegri's only been in the building for a few weeks now. Obviously, it's not going to be major changes between everybody in the space of 3 weeks. Like, we're not going to completely radicalize what we're doing, but to see us kind of have some structure there, look quite fit for a first proper pre-season game, and go toe to toe with an Arsenal side that is in a much better place than we are in
Yeah.
pretty much every sense of the way of putting it. Even if it was just for kind of 60 minutes and then it started getting a bit one-sided, there was that, and then there was also kind of a few individual performances which we can take positives from. So I was quite pleased with it, and it was just, I think that with a friendly like that, it's not really going to ever be something where you can look badly at it unless you get absolutely hammered. I'm guessing you're
Yeah.
the same in that sense.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like you said, I was a bit surprised actually that some of the players played quite a lot of minutes. I was expecting like 11 changes after the first half, really. I mean, that's what we tend to see sometimes in these friendlies. So that was quite nice to see the same players staying on. And, it wasn't the best starting 11. No striker essentially. So we had to play in a certain way. But like you said, like the stability was there. So that was quite nice. And even when, like I said this in the newsletter, I believe, when Arsenal got into the box or found space behind the back line, it felt like we had the core of the penalty box defended quite well anyway. And maybe that was because Arsenal also didn't have a striker, or depends on how you look at it. But yeah, so it was totally fine. But I guess the main thing we should talk about today, and what the listeners want to hear about, is our new left back, the Theo Hernandez replacement. So I guess I want to start off by asking you your initial thoughts, because I have to be honest and say that I don't watch the Premier League as much as I say would have, but I don't want to watch the league, to be honest. It doesn't interest me at all. So in that sense, it's quite it's a negative that Ollie isn't here, because I assume he would have had a lot more to say. But I guess you have seen him a bit more than me, at least, or maybe once or twice anyway.
Maybe a few times, yeah. No, I think, to be fair, starting with yesterday is probably a very good place to start, because I think we've all said a few times, whether it was kind of on podcasts or just in like little chats and whatnot, about how like Bartazagi could be an option this season. And whilst he wasn't bad yesterday by any means, the goal that Arsenal scored, we've conceded however many times last season, the season before that, where it's always been the left side losing the man. Like, that has just been
Yeah,
the regular factor. It happened again yesterday, and you could put Theo in that situation and put a Genoa shirt over the Arsenal one, and it's probably happened at some point. Like, it's one of them where every single time the cross comes in from the left hand side, you're worried about whether the left back is going to be there. And I think, again, it just reinforces that we did need somebody to come in with a bit of quality. And Estupiñán is, although he's more attacking, I think he does provide that. And I mean, when he first moved to Brighton, he was one of the best left backs in the league. It was the 22-23 season, I think it was. He was absolutely brilliant at both ends of the pitch. And then the kind of past few seasons, he's struggled a little bit with injury. His minutes weren't great the season before last, and they kind of ramped back up again this season. So he's someone that provides a lot of quality at the back, but also has the Theo-like instincts going forward that we needed to replace as well, because going from having a layout with the support of Theo to just instantly taking it away is such a risk to have. Whereas if you kind of have somebody like Estupiñán that can do a kind of bit of both, and then say somebody more defensive, you can then see whether Leao is going to thrive with his own position or whether he still needs that kind of helping hand with somebody, whether that's Estupiñán or somebody else.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, just to touch back on the game yesterday, like you said, I don't think Baltasar was horrible by any means, but he was also up against one of the best wingers, I guess, in the world right now. So it was always going to be tough, and I think we saw it. To me, it was pretty obvious anyway that he's not going to be a starter next season. I see him more as he's still quite young. He needs to gain more experience and so on, and learn obviously Allegri's system, of course. But yeah, I see him more as an option for when we play the lower level sides in Serie A. That's when I think he can make a difference. And obviously, if we're going to keep him, he needs to get some minutes, and those are the games to give him the minutes. So I think the game yesterday highlighted that we really need a left back. And like I said, I haven't seen much of Estupiñán, but based on the YouTube clips I've seen and all the spiders and whatnot, he seems to be someone who suits what Allegri wants to do, especially if he wants to play with the 3-man back line. Like you said, I get the impression as well that Estupiñán is a bit more, maybe not more attacking minded than Theo, because Theo is like extreme in that sense, but maybe slightly more aggressive anyway in his way of playing. And I think, I'm hoping that he will be the missing piece in that sense in Allegri's system, because I feel like a lot of the play has to do with controlling the game, and you get that with players like Gabbia, Tomori, Chao. I feel like they know how to make it quite stable, and even someone like Ricci now in midfield. I mean, his job is just to go around and reshuffle the ball, essentially.
Yeah.
Even like Fofana, you could throw in that mix, I think. So if you can have someone, like you said, now that we're not with Theo, we need some kind of X factor on the left-hand side alongside Leao, because let's be honest, putting all that pressure on Leao to be creative and creating all the chances on the left side is going to be suicide, essentially. Then we can also hope that, of course, on the right side that maybe Salamakers and Pulisic link up well, or whoever is playing there.